Acts chapter 12, 1 to 17. Now, about that time, Herod the king laid hands on some who belonged to the church in order to mistreat them. And he had James, the brother of John, put to death with a sword. And when he saw that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. Now it was during the days of unleavened bread. And when he had seized him, he put him in prison, delivering him in 4 squads of soldiers to guard him, intending after the Passover to bring him out before the people. So Peter was kept in the prison, but prayer was being made fervently by the church to God. And on the very night when Herod was about to bring him forward, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with chains, and guards in front of the door were watching over the prison. And behold, an angel of the Lord suddenly appeared, and a light shone in the cell. And he struck Peter's side and roused him, saying, "Get up quickly," as his chains fell off his hands. And the angel said to him, "Get yourself and put on your sandals." And he did so. And he said to him, "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me." And he went out and continued to follow, and he did not know that what was being done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. And when they had passed the first and second guard, they came to the iron gate that leads into the city, which opened for them by itself. And they went out and went along one street, and immediately the angel departed from him. And when Peter came to himself, he said, "Now I know for sure that the Lord has sent forth his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people were expecting." And when he realized this, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, who was also called Mark, where many were gathered together and were praying. And when he knocked at the door of the gate, a servant girl named Rhoda came to answer. And when she recognized Peter's voice, because of her joy, she did not open the gate, but ran in and announced that Peter was standing in front of the gate. And they said to her, "You are out of your mind." But she kept insisting that it was so. And they kept saying, "It is his angel." But Peter continued knocking. And when they had opened the door, they saw him and were amazed. But motioning to them and with his hand to be silent, he described to them how the Lord had led him out of prison. And he said, "Report these things to James and the brethren." And he departed and went to another place. What is happening in theological institutions and Christian universities is not different from the problems that the early churches faced. Great problems, up to the point of even risking their lives to continue to do the work of God. But something interesting is about this text that I have read. Verse 5 says, "So Peter was kept in the prison, but prayer for him was being made fervently by the church of God." We realize that, yes, the church knew that in times of such nature, when prayer is made, God will act. But ironically, the same church that was praying did not believe God to do what they were asking. Very interesting, yeah. So, well, at times God does not look at our faith in him before he acts. As we heard this morning, God is sovereign. And at times he does not even depend on us. He does what he feels is right. And we thank God for that. Yeah. So Peter was released miraculously from prison. And he found his way to the place where the church was gathered and were praying. And Rhoda too was very excited. And she left Peter behind the gate and went in and said, Peter is knocking. He's at the gate knocking. And the church told her, you are out of your mind. You know, it's not Peter, it is his angel. So, what I want us to think about is that, yes, we have numerous problems. And then we have to pray. And in prayer, we must believe in the God we are praying to. We shouldn't limit God to our understanding and our way of seeing things, our way of imagining things. God is able to do more than we ask. And we must accept that in our prayers. So, yesterday, we were reminded of 3 levels of challenges. You have the personal level, the institutional level, management and governance level. And this morning we've heard a lot about the schools we lead and the problems we are facing. What actually bothers me is the future of African Christianity. I think about African Christianity a lot. Because here we are with Christians who are, in Ghana we say they are on fire for God, doing all that they are expected to do and so many things. People pray all night, and even the all-night prayers are not enough. The Ghanaian experience. They find another week, another day of the week where they pray in the morning to the evening. That's in addition to the Sundays. So we do a lot. But when you look at the theological position, the biblical position of African Christians, when you listen to their prayers, and me being a musician, I love listening to the so-called gospel music. When I listen to the lyrics of the gospel music, I become sick, honestly. And I ask myself, if this is what is happening now, what will African Christianity look like in the next 20 years? People go to church and they take in whatever the pastors teach them or tell them. They don't care. As long as the person calls himself a pastor and they accept him, that's all. The pastor says anything and then we rejoice. And another thing that worries me is this whole thing of saying things to make Christians happy. A year by now, this is going to happen. Then they say, "Oh, I receive it, Amen." So, and to me, that to me is a great challenge to we, the ones whom God has called to lead theological institutions. Sometimes I ask myself, well, what do you need to become a pastor in Africa? What do people need to become pastors in Africa? Most of them, they don't need anything. They don't need theological institutions. They don't need anything. Just feeling that, well, God has called me, and you specialize in one area, yeah, deliverance, yeah, you are a prophet, and and so many, like some pastors, they just specialize in interpretation of dreams, destiny, and all those things, prophecies, and you see thousands of people following them, and you sit down and watch them and say, wow. Yes, the church is growing in Africa, but what kind of growth are we witnessing? Is it numerical growth or qualitative growth? So I have been asked to separate the little boys from the little girls so that we will reflect on what is happening. I've noticed that the little girls have their own way of seeing things, just as the little boys also have their own way of seeing things. Yeah, so I would like to leave this table with the little girls, and then the little boys will go and sit here just some few minutes to reflect on Christianity in Africa. What is the role of theological institutions? What's the role of Christian institutions? Where are we heading to? Where are we heading to? Are we just listening to the gospel and doing whatever we are being told? Or, like the Berean Christians, we listen, we record, we go home and compare and see what we've been told is right or wrong, and therefore we live Christ-like lives. These are the things I want us to consider. And also in our reflection, I want us to focus on the students who are in our schools. They are also facing a lot of problems. They have their domestic problems, and also they have financial problems, and at times it affects them in their ministries. We need to reflect on all this and then say some few prayers and come back. Thank you.